Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wrestling Rewind here on this Thursday. I am, of course, the West Coast Professor, Meacham Two Belts. And to my left on screen, but right in your hearts, is the true champion Two Belts of the No DQ Galaxy, plus trophy. Let's not forget the trophy we have there in the shot. So, Cherry Champs Everything is what we're going to call him for the immediate future. Greg Cherry, how are you, my friend? It seems like only yesterday we were on doing another Greg Cherry show.
Yes, it does seem like yesterday. Maybe because it was. But I know I'm wearing the same shirt that I am. It's one of those things where, quarantine and we don't have to leave the house, so deal with it.
That's right.
But also the lovely Wrestling Trivia Challenge Championship on display. And also the Fan Quizlemania Championship.
Yes.
Which I successfully retained yesterday.
Attaboy. There you go.
So we're watching Undisputed Championship matches. Some may call me the Undisputed Champion of Wrestling Trivia.
The belt says so. I made sure. So there you go.
It does, right up top.
I made sure. So, and you'll notice I'm posing as the Undisputed Champion because, well, I had the belts and I'm now getting sick of them being on my shoulders because they're heavy and it's hotter than shit back here. So there you go. Here's what we're going for today, kids. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
You
got the idea. Jeff doesn't have to carry those on his shoulders for an hour.
No, or for 3 months like poor Chris did. Anyway, so there you go. Yes, as I mentioned yesterday on the Greg Cherry show and all over social media, because that's how I roll. We are watching the night 19 years ago yesterday where Chris Jericho made history, and I do actually have the quote from his second book, also called Undisputed, and I will read that immediately following the conclusion of this series of matches. So what you want to do is fire up that WWE Network. I know it's been a while since I said this because we haven't done one of these in a while, but and again, I apologize for not having Piper Valentine last week. Last week was a shit show of a shit show, so we will get to Piper Valentine down the line, I promise, because if you're a Piper fan like me, you got to see this because this is Piper before he even had that WWF gold, WWF golden ticket in his pocket. So it's good shit, pal. Anyway, on the WWE Network, you want to head over to 2001 pay-per-views and Vengeance, which is the last pay-per-view of the year, and go to 1 hour, 35 minutes, 12 seconds. Exactly. With any luck, you've already bypassed the shot of Rikishi in that hideous white jacket he wore for far too long of 2000 and 2001. And you're on a screenshot of basically like a grayish background. It's the Vengeance hammer making its mark. So there you go. If you're going to watch along with us, I greatly appreciate that. But for historical context, for those of you that are just going to skip ahead of the match, which is I don't mind that either. As long as you're watching, I don't give a shit what you do. This is just after the Survivor Series 2001 and the final demise of the original ECW and, of course, World Championship Wrestling. But there's still that little matter of the two World Championships in the same company. And I'm going to keep it as low as possible to see if I can get away with it. If I can't, I'll edit the audio later. Doesn't matter. But basically, WWF co-owner Ric Flair, which you'll see momentarily here, decided that we were going to have a match to determine the true world's champion, the Undisputed Champion. And Mr. McMahon, that clever devil himself, said, what if we have a series of matches where we have Kurt Angle face the WWF champion, Steve Austin, and Chris Jericho face the world champion, no longer WCW because, well, I put them out of business because I'm the billionaire, The Rock. And the winner of those two matches face for the Undisputed title. And Ric Flair got that look on his face that he only gets when he's about ready to turn Space Mountain in high gear. And off we went. So I always ask you this when we do these. Where are you in your fandom? Because I know you were watching during the Attitude Era and, of course, the end of the war and all that. But was this a pay-per-view you were really interested in, not so interested in? Where we, because I know you in championships and titles and belts, and I'm sure this is like oh my God, it's going to happen.
This was an exciting time. This was not a pay-per-view I got live, unfortunately. But this was a fun show to go back and watch. The weird thing is I've watched the matches. I've watched all three matches, but I haven't watched them on as far as the pay-per-view show. I just watched them back in the day. So
Right.
I have seen the matches. It's been a while since I've seen them, but I remember how historic it was. And it's just such a cool thing to know that we were both alive for a time where we got to see essentially the WWF champion and what was the WCW champion face off against each other to determine an undisputed champion. It was very cool. And the fact that the WCW/world champion was, for the most part, a WCW guy in Chris Jericho, that kind of elevated it a little bit more. Because it wouldn't have made sense if The Rock would have gone on. Yeah, we would have got Austin Rock again, which probably would have been awesome. But it added the element of, hey, this is something different. And I don't know. I would have loved to see Angle win the whole thing, being a Pittsburgh guy and everything.
Oh, of course.
But it was cool to see Jericho get his moment. And it's a moment that's going to live in wrestling history forever.
And what's funny is Kurt Angle is the only one of the four. I'm trying to think here. That I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. I'm wrong. The Rock's the only one of the four that actually ended up being undisputed champion before the undisputed title got taken out of the title. The undisputed part got taken out of it because he won at Vengeance the following year in July. So Austin was never again world champion ever. Angle, of course, went on to become one of the GOATs. It's multi-time world champion on both with both brands, and of course in TNA. And then Jericho arguably went on later to be, a better world champion with the World Heavyweight Championship later. So, and of course the first AEW champion. So,
but Kurt Angle was the first one to have won both the WWF and WCW title, which, fun fact, he won both those titles that year in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. He was definitely the first to win it in a calendar year, win them both in a calendar year. That goes without saying. Many guys, of course, held both.
No. Well, yeah, he was the first to win because The Rock won the WCW title later. He was
after he did, right.
Well, he was WWF champion. He beat Angle in
February, right? But he didn't win WCW championship until after Kurt did. So, and Kurt was okay. Kurt was the first to be the champion of both in the same calendar year.
Yes.
The Rock was the first to win because Angle went into 01 as champion. So,
well, Angle also. Yeah.
Because he didn't regain the WWE championship until September when Rock had already won both that year. So,
gotcha. Okay. So we're confusing ourselves. Let's just get to
it. We are getting into the weeds, and we're getting and the people that aren't trivia masters go, just shut up and play. So, here we go. Again, we're at 1 hour, 35 minutes, 12 seconds on Vengeance 2001 in 3, 2, 1, play. And there they are, man. I mean, you see them behind us anyway, right? But there they are, the guys that are going to be going for this. And, even Jericho himself says, you look at that quartet and you go, no way it's Jericho. No way it's going to be Chris Jericho. Even though he won the big one at No Mercy and finally won a world title, no way in hell. So, and of course, Kurt Angle being the mole for the WWF and vanquishing the Alliance. And out comes Vince and Kurt the next night to humiliate Steve Austin by stripping him the championship. And doesn't quite work out that way for Vinnie Mac. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Now, see, it's one of those things where there's a tell. He says as the sole owner. He never said that in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, when he said sole owner, and of course the music hit about 2 seconds later, so something's going to happen. But it was always talked about during the war with Austin that, Shane and Vince were co-owners or each of them had 25% or whatever in that stupid ladder match storyline or whatever. But Vince never ever referred to himself as a sole owner at any time. So okay, what's the gag?
He probably didn't refer to himself as that because I don't think anybody knew anything was coming just because of the fact that he was the sole owner, Shane and Stephanie lost their rights. They sold their stuff.
Right.
So Vince thought he was it.
Right. And, I love how they, went back to a seed they planted earlier in the year by having Flair be the consortium that Shane and Stephanie sold to. That was actually, they actually pulled a thread and stuck with it. I was like, wow, all right, cool. You wouldn't see that now. Sticking with shit that works. And can we just talk about that shot that just happened between Rock and Jericho? How many hockey jerseys did Chris Jericho wear before he finally stopped doing that? Because I get his father was a hockey player, but holy moly.
Yeah. I don't think he wore much after that. So
yeah, it's true. Well, because he went into, champion mode, and then he went into, Bockwinkel mode not too long. Well, that was quite a while after, actually, but yeah. Was there anybody more intense in the WWF than Kurt Angle in the summer of 2001?
Nope.
Like, holy cow. You could freaking fry an egg on his forehead. And that was before he was bald.
Yeah.
He was like, once Austin turned again, Angle turned the voltage up to 1,000. He was just a badass. It's just such a shame they freaking, had him become, a obnoxious spaz after the Survivor Series again.
Yeah.
I prefer me some badass, wrestling machine Kurt Angle over, but granted, Jimmy Crack Corn and Yippee-Ki-Yay is funny too, but,
Kurt's an all-around entertainer.
Very much so. And you know what? All four of these guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's, you could talk about a lot of the guys in the company that could have been in one of these four spots, but at this point in 2001, I don't think any other guys deserved it more than these four. I mean, Booker was there, but he was fired as a member of the Alliance, so he wouldn't have been there. But he was the primary WWE champion before The Rock and Jericho did their thing. So
I love how they're presenting this as a big deal, though.
It is, and you know what is so it bothers me to this day, because I had a chance to be here at it. For those of you who don't know, this is in San Diego at the what is now called Pechanga San Diego Resort, the former San Diego Sports Arena. It is at this point, it's not quite a hole, but it's getting there. It is an old POS building that Pechanga lovingly restored to greatness, much like the Forum did when MSG bought them out here in Inglewood. Out here, like I'm in Inglewood. I'm freaking 45 minutes away, idiot. Anyway, but dude, I'm telling you, I keep hearing rumors that it's like all but sure 2022, man. If Mandy comes back to LA and I'm not there with my boy and my father, like something happened. Anyway, I was there the next night though, because they were at Staples for either Staples or Anaheim for Raw, and Jericho defended the title for the first time in a cage against Austin.
Yeah,
that was badass. There's nothing quite like a steel cage match live. Like, I don't know if you've been a part of too many of those, but like, they are fantastic as a spectator. They're crazy as a participant if you're like in the company at all.
I've seen Hell in a Cell,
which is bonkers.
a WrestleMania Hell in a Cell at that.
Yes, very much so. I have never seen Hell in a Cell live, and it's been out here once, but I wasn't able to go to that show. But yeah, Hell in a Cell is one of my bucket list things.
I've seen a lot of specialty matches, actually. I've seen a Rumble. I've seen a Hell in a Cell. I've seen an Iron Man match.
There you go. I saw Iron Man before it was even called Iron Man. It was a marathon match between Brett and Owen, again in Inglewood.
I've seen a ladder match.
I've seen a few of those.
What else? I feel like there's more. And it's funny because, I haven't been, surprisingly, to a lot of events, but the ones I've been to have been something special.
Well, and the thing is, like, you've been to milestone events when you've been to, your ladder match was SummerSlam 95, which, was a one match show, but that was the match you saw. You went to WrestleMania 28, which, was a bonkers WrestleMania.
Mhm.
But you saw Hell in a Cell, and you saw Rock and Cena, and you've been through for a lot of cool stuff. I've kind of like happened upon things. I mean, my first WrestleMania was my first show in 6 years, period, right?
Mhm.
And I saw the Triangle Ladder match and the 2-fall triple threat match for the Intercontinental European, and that ridiculous
watch live,
right? Like just watching those three, this guy here, Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit, and guy we're going to see in a minute here, Chris Jericho, just show why they are technically who they are, right? 2 dungeon graduates and a freaking Olympic gold freaking medalist. Well, here we go. We got Mike Chioda, who's also not with the company anymore. Poor bastard. Yeah. But he's on Conrad's network now, and he's not quiet.
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
You got to feel for Chioda. I mean, he put 30 years into that company, and they just tossed him aside during the whole COVID stuff.
And again, we talked about this yesterday during the football review. Like, we get it. COVID is a horrible thing, and it's screwing up all our lives. We get it, but like, there was no reason to not put him to work doing something.
Yeah,
with that much time put in, with that much knowledge in that brain of his. And God, Jerry Briscoe. Now, okay, granted, Jerry Briscoe is a few years older than Chioda. I'm not going to deny that, right? But like Jerry Briscoe, he's kind of made a slight comeback doing crazy, the tweet videos, and being funny, haha, and then he hit Conrad too, but Jerry had to, basically be called back into work last week to do a video about Pat.
Yeah.
Which had to be horrible for him.
Oh, yeah.
Same with Sergeant Slaughter, who you don't see ever anymore, but he did a video for Pat last week too. It's like, geez. And I wonder who, I get that Vince is the ultimate booker, the ultimate, the final pencil, if you will. But I wonder how much influence Pat Patterson had on this series of matches, because the finish to the series overall. I mean, looking back, it is kind of weak when you're going to crown the world champion of world champions, but it makes for a hell of a story.
Mm-hmm. And it led to one of the greatest segments in SmackDown history.
Oh God, yes. Oh, good. Like, we should watch that just because it's a bonus. If I had a Patreon, we would do it.
There you go.
I just want people to pay for a Patreon for my network at this point. I mean, they might. I don't know.
Yeah, they might. How damn good was Kurt Angle in 2001 though? Just as a whole.
The whole year. Like he was the MVP of 01. There is no way around that. He entered the year as champion, and God bless him, he ended the year dealing with the beginning of the "you suck" chance. The poor bastard.
But in between there, matches the greatest match of all time, in my opinion, against Shane McMahon at King of the Ring.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Rumble, he has Hunter, Rock, No Way Out, Benoit for like half the damn year after that, and then he's hurt for King of the Ring because him and Austin both got hurt pretty much around that same time, after the Shane McMahon match and after the Austin match with Benoit and Jericho. So that Kurt was MVP of the King of the Ring for sure. And then they both stood out for a month, just doing the haha on camera. Then the Invasion pay-per-view where he's the fall guy. Mm-hmm. And then SummerSlam, goodness sakes, another match I would have willingly gone to NorCal for if I'd known, because God damn, that was a hell of a match. And then Unforgiven, of course, out there at the Melon. What's that?
October had the triple threat against Austin and Van Dam. Yeah. Survivor Series.
Obviously. He's the heavy. And then tonight. Well, ironically, this is his birthday.
There you go. Happy birthday.
He's wrestling for the world title on his birthday, and he's the first guy to lose. That's
that tracks.
What's that?
That tracks.
that's a heel Kurt Angle in 2001. It's I'm gonna lose. Yeah. So a Pittsburgher having a hell of a year and then losing at the end. That sounds familiar.
That's rough.
I know.
It's rough.
I had to get one in. I was so good yesterday. I had to get one in. Trust me, nobody's more mad about the way you guys got dicked than everybody else. Because like I'm like the lone guy outside of the bubble that is pissed about you guys losing Monday night. That was bullshit.
That's because it was to somebody in your division. That's why.
Well, that definitely didn't help Washington's cause at all. Yeah, it's like I would have preferred anybody in the division besides Washington. They're the worst team. Like I understand if Philadelphia did it, or even the Giants, because the Giants are having this weird year where they go back and forth.
Yeah,
but like Washington, what the hell? Anyway,
I can't explain it.
They're
also.
Right, yeah. It's Kurt Angle went on to have a pretty good 2002, all things considered, except for losing his hair.
Hey, he won the title in 2002.
He did, and again, another great freaking story. That whole sequence with Brock to Show to Angle with him, oh my god! I don't think there was anybody more mad at everything than SmackDown that week when Heyman revealed what was really happening. And and I love Paul Heyman. I was like, you stupid, dirty mother effer. Because, even back then I wasn't a Brock Lesnar fan, but I was like, oh, come on, really? Mm-hmm. And again, it's December pay-per-view. So there you go. Kurt Angle had good strong finishes and starts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rebel 2000 not so much.
Yeah.
Although he didn't technically lose.
No, because it was in
legally. That's right. All right, now here's my problem with this right here. He's got that ankle lock sunk deep. Like Austin's going nowhere. August, it's a loss. September, it's a loss with under the rope and the Earl Hebner shenanigans. Why is it not a lot? Why? Is it because they're trying to tell a story that Austin finally was able to overcome it, or I have a problem with this whole sequence.
Well, no, he won in September.
That's not saying he won in September, but it was because of the whole, Austin's hands under the rope and Hebner counted anyway, and they made it into a thing where Austin got the belt back, win a rematch. Remember? Yeah, because Austin won, Angle won it Unforgiven, and then he went off TV for a while. He was taking time off to kind of rust up a little bit, and they spun it where Hebner purposely screwed Austin, and right. Shane drew it out of him, so they made them have the rematch, and that's when Regal turned and became the Alliance Commissioner for some ungodly reason.
Yeah,
that was weird booking, that part where Foley came back for about 2 seconds and became the commissioner again.
Yeah.
And then the night after Survivor Series went on Vince's plane and basically ready to riot act and quit. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering what the whole point of that was.
Yeah, I don't know why. I get keeping Regal a heel is always better because babyface Regal makes no sense at all.
But on the topic of babyface Regal, when he was in England with Eugene and they were facing La Resistance, the pop they got when they won the tag team titles, right. I loved watching that moment. Even though it got overturned and they ended up losing, right. But that moment alone, just seeing that pop and the satisfaction on Regal's face, it's like, damn, why was he not world champion?
That was the only thing that kept me from completely 100% hating the Eugene thing. Was Regal's reactions to it, good and bad.
Yeah.
Other than that, go ahead.
Regal's just money. I hope it's not a Ron Simmons thing where he's just known for saying War Games now, but
he does do that pretty well. You wait for it every year now. It's like, okay, when do they come back? And again, a second ankle lock, like, dude, like Austin's ankle should be like fakaktima by now, and no. So there's just inconsistency there that I have a problem with, So, and then there's just that where Kurt's like, I'm going to throw you over my head till you stop moving. That works too.
The original mayor of Suplex City, Kurt Angle.
Right. Well, yeah, because he was an Olympic wrestler. So yeah, I was going to give a little credit to Taz, but you're absolutely right. I don't need to, so I'm not going to.
Well, he was a suplex machine. He wasn't.
Right. That's right. The only city Taz cares about is Brooklyn. Oh yeah, I mentioned it yesterday how long AEW Dark is and how it doesn't need to be, and I figured out something after we went off the air yesterday as we were going into today. Mm-hmm. Excalibur and Taz are the two primary commentators on that show now.
Yeah,
I think AEW Dark is Excalibur's PWG commentary on steroids, and that's just him getting his rocks off every week.
Yeah,
because all they do is make silly references that like 5 people get. And I'm a fan. I get those references, right? But it's like for everybody else, they're like, okay, huh? What?
I mean,
he's popping the PWG DVD.
Good. Yeah, it's like literally any reference that Dennis Miller ever makes.
Right.
Where it just goes over everybody's head and maybe 2 people get it.
Right. Yeah, if you're not Dennis Miller or Lorne Michaels, you're what the hell? No.
Yeah.
Line. Yeah. But yeah, if you pop in a PWG DVD, it's like that every month. it's just like.
Have you watched the clip of Adam Cole's introduction before he faces off against Cedric Alexander? Okay. If you know, you know. We're not going to go into it.
And if you don't know, for the love of God, find out. Like, I'm not going to put that over too much, but my goodness. If he ever hit that moonsault consistently, he would be like a freaking 25-time world champion at this point.
The one time he did hit the moonsault, he broke Hardcore Holly's arm.
Right. And in the category not aging well, huh?
Poor Holly. Angle and Lesnar are both top tier guys, and one breaks his arm, the other breaks his neck. It's like
I know. It's jeez. No wonder his ass was so chapped at the end.
Yeah.
It's like if I get a program with 2 top guys and I get broken in 3. Bullshit. Ironically, Austin using the Fez press from the last Undisputed champion.
Mm-hmm.
Luthez. Which you got yesterday, which I still hate you for the record. I'm just like, damn it.
Jeff.
I know. But it's like, it was an NWA reference. It was a pre-NWA reference. So I thought it was too far back for you to go.
I'll come clean. Before you, by the fact that you gave me, there might be trivia. I was like, I wonder if he's going to ask me who the last Undisputed champion was before.
So you had time to get the hamster going in the wheel.
Yeah.
All right.
So I figured it was going to be somebody in the NWA time frame. So
right. Well, it's funny. Like I mentioned briefly yesterday, and I'll go into it quickly. I'm reading Tim Hornbaker's book about the NWA monopoly from in the 40s and the 50s, and how completely freaking illegal it was. Like it's what like I'm only on chapter 4, and I'm like I invited Tim to come on my show. Like I want to interview this guy because he knows stuff that you and I will go, whoa. So like seriously. And then there's also a guy who I talked to before about another project I'm doing, which I'm getting there. Who was on the World Heavyweight Championship DVD? Mike Chapman, the former director of the International Wrestling Museum, which is now the Dan Gable Museum. This era of wrestling is his bag. So like I want to get his fight because he even says on the documentary part of it, the top 3 champions in his mind are Gotch in the Pioneer days, Luthez in the Golden Era, and Hulk Hogan in the Modern Era. So for him not only put over Hogan, which they don't do that, but mention Luthez by name. Okay, I gotta get him on my show. And Gotch, who was champion for 5 years, he was the original Undisputed champion.
No respect to San Martino though.
No, which is funny because like Bruno, well, it's funny. People go back and forth with Bruno, and I know he's a Pittsburgher, or transplant Pittsburgher. Oh, wait for it.
Look out.
Brink.
Daughter.
Good night, sweet prince. If you weren't a hardcore WWF fan or didn't live out there, Bruno wasn't your guy. Like, people didn't put Bruno over back then the way we put him over now because of his place in history, or the way they put Luthez over then. So, like, and the fact, and this is okay. If you're a family member or anybody, I'm not shitting, so bear with me here. The fact that Bruno beat Buddy Rogers, who was looked on by the NWA, especially Luthez, as a lesser than, and didn't beat Lou for the championship, kind of put Bruno already in a lower tier with the hardcore denizens, if you will. So I get it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it, because Bruno outsold the Garden when that wasn't happening, or sold out the Garden when it wasn't happening. So, but yeah, I more and more, and everybody's on the challenge just accused me of being NWA, over geek, and I am by design. I admit it. But I'm learning more and more about the origins of the NWA, and I'm just going, man, like I wonder how much Billy knows about the legacy he's purchased. Because there's a lot of dark shit, man. I'm not gonna lie.
There's dark shit in everything. Let's be honest.
Well, I understand that, but it's like, it's, for all intents and purposes, Capital Wrestling / WWF, has been a family-run business, and it's been the McMahons or bust, and the McMahons aren't exactly squeaky clean either. Great example on screen right now about McMahon's not being squeaky clean in their images publicly. And now I'm talking about Andrew Martin. May he rest in peace. I wonder if Vince kind of come up with ways of how many times he can get Trish on TV wearing a towel before he was done with the day at work.
Yeah.
At least once a year, right? At least. I mean, not hard to see why. I'm not going to, duh, but I just feel like she's laughing behind his back, and he turns around and she's totally selling him. Like, oh yeah, I agree.
I'm surprised they didn't run further with this. And Tess was like, "What? You can't fire me? Don't you think that would have added to his heeldom? Be like, hey, right. I can harass people whenever I want. You can't fire me. I got immunity." So,
right?
Surprised they didn't run with that. It would have been terrible TV, but it would have made sense because he's such a slime ball. It's like, you can't fire me.
And it wouldn't have aged worth a damn. Oh, God damn, look at that. Jesus. We go from the hot look in the dressing room to a freaking ridiculous pop.
Yeah.
And again, he was away for a good chunk of the year, and he's better than ever still.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I know I gave him a lot of crap when he came back, or when he hadn't come back for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But he's, if he's not in the Hall of Fame, soon, then I need to go to Connecticut and start wrapping heads. But I want the Hall of Fame for him to be as far away from my coast as possible, because I am not going to that. Because the speech will be 6 hours long.
Probably.
Because he took about 4 to induct his dad and granddad. So I'm like, I don't need a repeat of that shit.
If Triple H has to cut off Ric Flair, I don't think he's going to have any problem doing it to Dwayne.
Yeah, that was, well, the thing is, he still didn't cut Nate off. Nate still went for an hour or more. And I'm okay with that one. I'm all right with that main event being long. The only thing they cut off the home media was, of course, the Benoit mentioned.
Right.
It just happened. It's like, oh, Rick. But you know what? It's his going out party. What are you gonna do? Fire him?
Yeah.
You know. So I'm glad he had the chutzpah to mention, because I've said it then, I'll say it now. Chris Benoit not being the fourth horseman would have probably canceled the Horseman before it really got off the ground again in '95.
Yeah,
he was that that blast cap, like Tully Blanchard called himself. Like he was the technical wizard. I'm sorry, he was a technical guy like Ole was. Pillman was the blast cap. He was knucking futz. Anyway, so he definitely was the straw that stirred the Horseman drink when they finally put him as the fourth guy at the end of '95. So I commend Rick for at least acknowledging that briefly.
Yeah. Holy, Jericho looks so. I know it's 19 years ago, but look how young Jericho looks.
Well, figure he just turned 50,
so he would
have been just turned 31. Yeah. So he's younger than both of us. So
at present, yeah.
At present, yeah, we're obviously not 19 years ago. I was not even in the damn business yet. So you were still in high school. I know. Shut up.
Freshman year, nonetheless.
You're a dick. That's back for the Steelers thing. Okay, there you go. There it is. Thank you. Okay, very good. Schmuck. For context, my freshman year started the same month that Austin stunned Vince for the first time.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. I'm an old fart. It's okay. And what was easily the worst Vince stunner ever.
Oh, yeah. He got better as time went along.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, he couldn't go anywhere but up after that one. Holy balls.
And for that one to happen in MSG of all places.
Right. It's like you have the greatness of Cactus Jack's debut, and you have that.
I do want to bring up something at the end of this match, which I don't know if you would know offhand, or if anybody would know offhand.
Okay.
But, I'll just leave it at that, and we'll bring it up later.
Well, can I go non-PC for a second and mention how Chris Jericho's hairstyle is kind of like a modern day pachanga thing? Can we throw that out there? Okay, very good. Wow, what the hell?
I don't know what the red hair is about.
Like he only did that this night. Why did he go to the Janet and go, let's do this tonight?
Yeah.
I'm winning the world title. Let's do something crazy. And Vince is back there laughing his ass off at the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Baby Earl. Miss it. He's still alive, but I miss him in the company for sure.
Yeah.
We've talked over the months here of, watching the different authority figures in sports age terribly with this COVID thing. Did anybody age quicker than Earl Hebner between 97 and here? God, that poor guy had so much stress. And an aneurysm 98. Let's not forget that, obviously. But it's like, man, he had a rough 4 years. Having to wrestle a match with Nick Patrick on pay-per-view.
I meant to mention this earlier. Why is Hugo Savinovich just wearing like a baseball jersey?
Hugo doing Hugo things.
I guess.
He
didn't pawn that one too, did he?
He may have. I understood that reference.
That was a cheap shot. Sorry, Hugo.
No, you're not sorry. Shut up. You're lying.
I mean, it was a cheap shot, and all.
It was a cheap shot, but you're not sorry you did it.
I wasn't planning on saying that when I brought up the baseball jersey.
Okay.
I just ran with it. It was like, whatever.
It's kind of verbal diarrhea out of your face. It's all right. It's all good. That's okay. Hugo became a stooge anyway, so whatever. It's so funny. I saw him. What was I watching? It may have been Starrcade '83 when I was getting ready to watch the Piper match. Like he's on that show as a on-camera personality, like he's a manager or something. It's like, oh, what the hell's Hugo doing here? But I forgot. I think he was part of the Carlos Colon Abdullah match, which was a Puerto Rican thing. So he probably was involved in there somewhere.
Has Jericho ever pinned anybody with that?
The line saw? I don't think so.
No, the foot pin.
No. Well, maybe. Maybe
it would be one time in WCW where like somebody got knocked out and he did it.
Right.
But before his career ends, I want to see him pin somebody with that.
That's right.
It'll be such like a heel thing to do, but
well, see, what I want to do as far as Chris Jericho goes, I want to go back and look in history if CM Punk got into referee training. Because if he did, Mick Foley's win over Jericho at the Hall of Fame counts.
There you go.
Because as both of them said in all their books, he never beat Chris Jericho. Not once.
Of course, they weren't really active at the same time.
Well, they had a match actually though.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, in ECW, it was Foley's. It was Cactus Jack's second to last match,
and he must have jobbed.
He did.
Yeah,
and then he jobbed to Mikey Whipwreck the next night and did the Rockets routine with Stevie and the Meanie on the way out of the arena. Well, no, okay, he did that, and then he did the Fabulous One strut out of the arena.
Yeah,
he's very quick to point that out to me many times. It's like, I didn't do the Rockets hands. I strutted like the Fabulous Ones. Okay, so you'd rather be compared to Steve Kern and Stan Lane than the Rockettes. Okay, Mick, you do you, boo. You're a New Yorker, dude. Come on.
I guess it's better the fantastic ones than the dynamic dudes. So,
well, yeah, the Fabulous Ones are much more respected than the dynamic dudes by and large. I have a very good friend who still has a Johnny Ace imprint on his hand right here. From anyway, that's awesome. Anyway,
okay, so I'm gonna throw this out there. Who does the best Samoan drop?
Oh God, you know, I always liked Rockies, but probably Yoko.
I'm gonna throw out Tatanka.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though it wasn't called the Samoan drop,
right? But I can get with that one. I mean, of course, the whole Anawahi family, does it great because that's it's their thing. But but yeah, Tatanka did a great one. Like it wasn't a Samoan drop; it was more of a follow-away slam. But Scott Hall, Razor. Although his is more of a throw over, though.
Yeah, him and Bradshaw do the throw.
The last call. Again, the name is age well for Scott.
Yeah.
Wow. But he put me those up. It's good for him. Mm-hmm. So,
ask him. I love you.
I love it. By the way, I didn't mention this all week because I haven't been live except twice. Stupid Edison. I did hear from Conrad Thompson after last week's interview with Bagwell. He wanted to have me say in public that he wishes Bagwell nothing but the best. He doesn't hate Mark like Mark thinks, and that he hopes that Bagwell turns out to be one of wrestling's greatest success / comeback stories. And whatever happened in the past is in the past. And if I could get out a shimmery blue dress and a white wig, I would do that part, but I'm not going to. So just Mark, if you're watching, which I doubt you are, because you're probably doing another 4-hour interview with somebody else because I'm not special like that. Conrad's good. So there you go. He's a good dude. Like he gets a lot of shit from a lot of people.
Like I said, when I met him at the indie show 11 years ago, he was so cool. He was such a good dude.
No. I mean Conrad. Oh, Conrad gets a lot of. Well, no, Mark's a great guy. I'm one of the 6 people that is close enough with Mark where I know he's a good guy and will defend it till I die. But Conrad gets a lot of shit because of who he's related to and who he, but he doesn't deserve the shit he gets at all. I don't think. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I did have to unsubscribe because I had to help a different friend with a subscription thing, which I'll get to momentarily in the plugs as we go into tomorrow. Because tomorrow's going to be a live 2-hour talk wrestling. Because I didn't plan on that this week, but I'm gonna.
Well, I mean, you have to fill the void a trivia challenge since it's not coming back till January.
Well, right, but once you get past a 30-minute 10-0 massacre from Greg Cherry, you got to fill an hour and a half. So,
that's fair.
So I was planning to start going an hour because I was advised medically to cut back on work, but then work got cut back out of my hands. So it's like that looked like it hurt. It's like the sweat flying showed that it hurt.
Chero's calling them chops. Those are like Bubba Dudley chops. Those aren't backhand.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if there's one guy that wasn't in the equation, there's one thing that wasn't in the equation of the pewter chop fest that I'm glad for Pewter wasn't. It's Bubba freaking Dudley.
Yeah,
Bubba would have chopped him halfway across the county.
Yeah, he was still with the company then, but he wasn't.
Oh yeah. Pewter should thank God and country that Bubba wasn't in the Rumble match yet.
1 year when I watched that match, I don't remember when it was. And I think that's actually it's not. No, 2004 is up next. When I watch 2005 again, I'm going to count how many chops there are in that match, not just the ones from Pewter, because Benoit's in there family of the whole thing. So
right, yeah.
So I counted about 70 some last time. Oh, jeez,
that was gnarly.
Yeah.
Man, Jericho's lucky he lost his pretty looks after that one. Holy shit.
Yeah.
He's lucky to be a rock star for that one. Holy crap, that was bad, man. Those tights are kick ass on Jericho. Those pants are nice.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he didn't even know for sure he was going to win the title until he got there. So
yeah.
Those weren't planned to be championship tights. Those are just that cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does this better than The Rock. He sells it and then he bounces halfway across the arena in the process. Much like the Stunner.
Yeah.
You stun Rock in LA, he ends up in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm. It's like Rock would sell that in Pittsburgh, end up in Lancaster.
Right. California.
Yeah. Can you imagine him selling the Stunner that long? It'd be like he'd be selling it for like 6 days.
A 3,000-mile Stunner sell.
At least he wouldn't be able to get pinned unless it was false count anywhere. Austin would just have to fly to California to get the count.
Oh, come on, Austin. He would drive the pickup truck and follow him the whole way.
Yeah.
Oh, go through Margaritaville in the process. Oh God! Like I'm imagining Rock just fucking head over heels the whole way. I can't unsee it now. Jesus! Oh my goodness! Oh, so speaking of Jesus, I was able to download the entire track from yesterday's standby music, and that'll be ready for next week's Chuck Cherry show.
There you go.
Those state laws were the worst by far.
Oh
my gosh! Like I'm surprised we didn't get thrown off the freaking.
Yeah, I'm surprised the stream just didn't stop partway through and be like, no, you can't never speak again on this platform.
That's right. The fact that these laws made you repeat about dogs and carnal. Stop, Greg. No.
I'm just reading what's in front of me.
That's right. I'm just reading the script. Don't fire this.
Thank God we don't have to reenact these.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If we did, I would not choose those laws to read.
That's a whole other HBO special.
Actually, enough to reenact half those.
Yeah, no, especially yesterday's.
If you know, you know.
If you don't know, go back and watch if it's still up.
And if you know, you probably don't want to know. But anyway.
That's right. If you know you were Greg and G and I, and you're scarred for life. We said Zano times. We definitely needed Jesus after that show.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me, I have sinned.
Yeah. Oof.
And that was a sin that Jericho didn't get his teeth knocked out on that one. You know, do you know why it's unfair? I'll tell you why I know it's unfair. Rock has been beat to crap and beaten Jericho to crap. He still looks like a freaking movie star right now. Like he could go to the back, put on a suit, and be in a Fast and Furious movie like right now, and he'd be all right.
Probably.
Good looking jerk.
It's those black and Samoan jeans. I mean,
right? Seriously, like I've heard the whole phrase "black don't crack," but he's not like dark black. So but yeah, he ages
he's half black, half Samoan. So
right, yeah, he has aged tremendously well. Like
here's my question: do headbutts hurt him?
Right.
Breakdown.
That's right. The breakdown before it was called the breakdown.
Before it was the skull crushing finale.
Right. How did Jericho not sound Miz on that? How did that not happen ever?
I have no idea.
Like he sounded Edge sounded them for the awesome steel.
Mm-hmm.
How did Jericho not go, hello? Yeah. That's a Jericho thing to do, man.
And Jericho was still there when he started doing it.
Right. So here's my thing. How many let's go back and watch the show another time, just independently of doing our show. How many Just Bring It or Brahma Bull red, white, and blue shirts are there in this crap after the 9/11 thing? My goodness. They are papered everywhere of this whole arena. If you can out crap the Rock on the people's elbow, you're the GOAT.
Yeah.
That was a terrible people's elbow attempt. But a hell of a counter.
Mm-hmm. He's Canadian. He can do it better.
That's right. Even though Rock still won't let it sell, so it looks better because he has to be, doing the push-up in the process. Like, you're not Steve Austin with a bloody face. Go down to the mat and sell, mother effer. Attaboy. There you go.
There you go.
And now, of course, Jericho looks like shit because he's standing halfway up. Like, come on, guys. Watch tape.
Watch how Brett did it.
Watch how Owen did it.
He was asked to ask for that sharpshooter.
Yeah, he was. Shoot, a couple times he freaking pulled back so hard he fell down.
Yeah. I guess Jericho was born in New York, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. He could have been born a king. Another year or two prior.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a year prior, because Ted was still with the Kings the season before Jericho was born. I still get such a kick out of that story when I saw him at the bookstore. He saw the jersey. He's like, all right. He understood the reference tier. I'd love to get his other books and then get them signed because I haven't even read the other two he's written yet, or 3, whatever it is now. He's becoming McFoley version 2 of the memoirs.
Look out.
Hey, you're not going to get the Jericho on a roll up. Come on now, Rock. Oh, rock bottom. And JR's having a coronary. I love Earl just like, 2. It's not over. I'm just going to half-ass this. Meh. Meh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, wait a minute. I already Austin win. I can't have the Rock win too.
Yeah.
Okay. Earl, Dave's in the back. He wants to beat you up for 88 again. I need you to go into the back. Like I need you to. I wasn't talking to you, Rock. Jerk. His brother's in trouble back there. The Rock just pops up and gets all serious. Like, all right, here's how it's done, you jackass.
The spine on the pine.
I love that. Pine Buster. Jesus. He still drops the people's elbow after the fact.
Why not?
Was that the most gimmicky shit ever or what? Oh my goodness. But people's jewels.
Look out. Rock bottom.
It's a bookend. Oh, wait. Okay. Greatest reaction in the moment coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching at home, and God bless you if you are, we appreciate that.
Now, when was the last time after Jericho or ever that somebody won a world title using the other person's move?
1. It was in that moment that Jericho shit his pants. Yeah, I since then I don't know, honestly, as far as the opposite finisher. Now, here's my thing with what we're going to see here in just a second. Once they show it here, hang on, wait for it. You've got more money than you've ever had in your entire company history. You've got the biggest match, presentation-wise in company history, right?
Yeah.
So, come on. I forgot we got to do the stupid thing with Angle and Rock here first. Okay. So, Angle would rather have Chris Jericho be champion than Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right. Well, that makes sense. You tell him, Earl. Go to the back of your chair, you nanny knicker, you. No. That's a rock bottom, bitch. Don't touch me, Earl. Kurt, you suck. I'm going to chase you away. With my one good leg, apparently. Okay, now. You're telling me they couldn't do a better graphic than that? Those belts look terrible.
Yeah.
Stupid. I know. It's a minor bitch, but it's my bitch, and I'll bitch if I want to. It's my network. Okay. So 3. Okay, so
these matches like no disqualification.
Well, here's my thing. Why is Earl counting?
Yeah, what would happen if they both got counted out? Then nobody's champion.
Yeah. Then we've wasted 3 hours. Or an hour anyway. Yeah. That's where the whole again, inconsistent planning out of things. Like you're having the match where there has to be a winner and you're gonna double count out. Like, no. Yeah. I mean, no damn sense.
I mean, we saw a 60-minute Iron Man match in NXT that ended in a draw, so.
Oh, yeah. But then again, they didn't have Roddy Piper going, there must be a winner, so. Oh, man. Elbow was on the top of head. Mm-hmm. Good shot.
Come on, baby.
Right. Before Adam Cole made Bebe a thing.
If Jericho ever leaves AEW and comes back to WWE, I want to see Jericho versus Cole in a Bebe match.
Right. Just not a crybaby match.
Not a crybaby match.
Yeah. I don't need to see either one of them in diapers and baby powder like I did Sean Waltman and Scott Hall. Thank you. Oh, speaking of Adam Cole, so Tuesday on AEW Dark, so I watched that the other night before we did the Greg Cherry show. Yeah. There was an Adam Cole reference on Britt Baker's talk segment.
Of course.
Dustin decided to ask Britt Baker, did your boyfriend win Match of the Year last year? Right in the gonads. Fuck, Dustin. You got to be a dick about it.
Well, it depends on where he was getting the rankings from. Was it Meltzer or was it No DQ? Because I feel like No DQ had Cole and Gargano.
Yeah, we did. Oh, tremendous comeback. Thank you, Gregory Cherry, for that. But at the same time, Cody and Dustin was a damn good match. I'm not going to bullshit.
Cards on the table. I have not seen that match in full. I want to. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm well aware of how well it was received. I just have not. I want to catch up on my AEW. I just need to find the time.
Orderly, straight jacket, and pattern.
And yes, despite not watching one of the greatest matches apparently in AEW history, it's short history. I still have this. That's what matters.
Right. That's right. Now that's because Fame and I couldn't get enough AEW questions at the time.
Hey, the ones he sent, I got. So
yeah, this is true. This is very true. Man, that last match sure seemed like he was out to get you.
Well, he did stump me on a couple. I'll give him that.
He did. Yeah, it's so crazy. He's been a part of this whole thing, and he never actually sat down and challenged you, did he? On the show?
He never challenged me. He challenged you, and he was part of the tournament.
Right, and I remember he was your Yoda during the build up for part 2 of You and I.
Yeah,
which was still a tremendous video to this. I love that video so much.
I would argue Cherry versus Meacham, as far as trivia challenge goes, one of the best stories.
Oh yeah,
one of the most natural stories ever told. Because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's kayfabe. Oh, it's staged. Oh, these guys are like giving the answers ahead of time." No, guys, it is 100% straight shoot.
No.
Me walking off the show because I was pissed. Shoot, that was a shoot. I was pissed.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been that much money and time spent the last 5 months if that was kayfabe.
Yeah.
And me trying not to freaking explode with excitement and spaz from hiding everything. Yeah. And your wife, God bless her, for doing the same thing.
She told me how tough it was because she tells me everything. So how tough it was to keep a secret from me. I was like,
yeah.
But I love the Rumble, so I love surprises.
Right. And cards on the table like we did earlier with you and the Cody thing. If there wasn't a pandemic, I was going to find a way to be on your porch doing the questions live.
Wow.
And I was going to surprise you by being there.
Damn.
Because I was like, okay, this is too big. Like, this is huge.
Yeah.
And considering how many people were watching by the time we were all said and done that night, it was one of the bigger things we've done in our 18-year media history.
I love the fact that episode got so many viewers.
I was so happy, man. Okay, like I said yesterday, your reactions and everybody's reactions was enough for me to get me through a Christmas with no anything this year. If it happened, it's not going to happen, obviously, because I have wonderful people in my life. But the people that watched, and there's been no negative anything, is just surprising to me, but very touching to me too. It's very cool. Well, so, unlike the reign we're about to start here with poor Chris Jericho, who just got lambasted for 3 months.
Yeah.
By everybody, especially Vince, which is so stupid looking back for him.
So question.
Sorry.
Jericho Triple H. Worst Mania main event build-up ever?
Without question. And worst graphic for a main event. It's basically Hunter versus Stephanie with Jericho in the background.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I'm trying to think of Mania buildups that were worse main event. There were some main events that were worse that had great buildups.
Right.
Triple H comes to mind.
Right. Like Brett Yoko had no build because that wasn't the thing.
I mean, that was
right. I mean, and honestly, and knowing Vince's end game at the end of it, we know why, right? It was designed to fail. It was. 8 had a great build up on both main events. My goodness. 7 a great one. 6 a tremendous one. 5 arguably the best ever. 3 was great.
Even 11 had a good build.
Yeah, 11 and 11 in and of itself is not a bad match for what it is. You've got a retired football player against a career upper mid-carder at best.
And LT hung with him.
LT hung, dude. I very rarely give any New York Giant credit, but man, Lawrence stuck with it. And God bless him, man. And honestly, the semi-main, the world title match had a great build too. It just, it was just destined for failure.
Which finished off with the worst jackknife powerbomb in the history of wrestling.
Which is so stupid when you think of who's taking it. Nobody knows how to take that better or deliver it better than those two. Come on, man.
It's oh my gosh. I watched that powerbomb back and I cringe. It's Sean, what are you doing?
How are you not crippled sooner?
Let's see, what else? 13.
13, the main. Okay, well, the featured match got great build up. Austin Brett.
I would say the last Raw before Mania 13 gave that match its build. After Brett shoved Vince down and everybody came out at the end, like that was the build for Mania 13. I'll give it that.
Yeah. 14, tremendous. 15 also. 16 actually, for as thrown together quickly as it was a damn good build. Because it basically built from Mankind becoming Cactus and just went from there. Like the whole first 3 months of the year. 17 my way. Yeah. I get 18, like you said. 19, all 4 main events had a great story going in. Even Booker and Hunter, for what as lame and un-PC as it was a good story.
Yeah.
20,
so solid all around though. 20 was great.
20 was great. 21,
jeez.
and Earl is dead. Earl had to die anyway.
21,
21
build was solid
for both title matches. Yes. The matches themselves, not so much.
No.
22, I have a problem with.
Yeah, 22. Yeah.
Well, 22. Somebody made a point about this to me not too long after it happened. What is the point of what is the job of a championship match challenger? To build the person you're challenging as the best. That way, when you win, you've beaten the best. Triple H spent 3 months saying, I love how
it's such a.
Yeah, seeing Nick Patrick in a WWF referee shirt is just like, what, huh?
But Nick Patrick is still the crooked referee they was with the NWO.
And Flair's still punching his lights up.
And Vince McMahon is beating up Ric Flair.
Jesus. Oh, God, so bad. Who was that leaning over the rail in the blonde hair? Was that Charlotte?
Woo!
Pop.
She'd be there the month after, so.
This is true. No, that was Megan and Reed, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Not sure about that, but I'll check later. So Vince got beat up again. Jericho's getting beat up some more.
Where were we on our count? 22.
Okay, so 22. Triple H spent 3 months saying, all I gotta do is beat John Cena. Who cares? So if Triple H wins, I just beat John Cena. But if you lose to a inferior athlete. Yeah. You shot yourself in the foot, dude. 23. The main event 23, as much as I hate to say it, was the Donald Trump Vince McMahon thing. And that match had ridiculous build.
But the actual main event, Shawn and Cena, was really made on the final Raw.
Again, much like right. So Jericho sounded like a drunk man for what it's worth. And some guy in the crowd has worse hair than Rodney and Michael Cole combined. Just the guy in the orange shirt right there. Terrible hair. Good Lord.
That's definitely a 2001 hairstyle.
Yeah. 24, Undertaker Edge. Great build. Bink. Why did Booker and Vince McMahon have the same color scheme on their suits? I'm asking the question. They're in cahoots. I tell you, they're in cahoots. Okay, the cameramen are going, where'd he go? Oh, Vince puts the good referee back in there now. That's fantastic.
He's close. He's closer than Patrick was.
This is also true. This is the slowest thing ever. Like, okay, there we go. JR's trying to have a freaking lose his voice calling how bad this is. The girl in the restaurant looking at this like, what the hell, Vince? What kind of bullshit's that? But there he is, the undisputed champion, Chris Jericho, and he's crying his eyes out. Because he just got his ass whooped. And Vince is laughing last and laughing loud, like he promised at the start of the show. If you know, you know.
Yep.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Now, I wanted to read what Chris wrote about this because it is very poignant in my professional opinion as a podcaster and a wrestling fan. Okay. Here we go. It's got it right. Okay. Wait for the moment. There it is, kind of, sort of. The lady in red is still pissed off. She's fuming over there. Okay, another Brahma Bull red, white, and blue sign. Man, they stole a ton of that shit that year. Can't imagine why. Now, see, here's the moment that's bullcrap because Vince is not happy right now. He's like, oh, great, we got Jericho as a champion. Here we go.
Yeah. Didn't he tell the story?
Huh?
Jericho told the story. It's like, look at where our business is when we're putting the belt on Jericho.
Well, I actually have that right here. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let me go ahead and get rid of that so we can have a better. There we go. All right, so this is after the final paper, the final TV of the week, and so they go to San Diego. Chris Jericho says, and I quote, "When I got to the arena in San Diego the day of the pay-per-view, I still didn't think I was going to win the tournament. Most of the time when someone wins the world title for the first time, they have their loved ones in the crowd to share the moment. I didn't bother flying Jess or my dad in for the show because I was expecting to have the carpet pulled out from underneath me and didn't want to look stupid. I walked into catering and saw Vince talking to Undertaker. He still hadn't said word one to me about the championship, and I assumed he wasn't going to. When I went over to say hello, Vince said sarcastically, 'You can tell the business is going down the toilet when we're going to make Jericho the champion.' That was the extent of Vince's big talk with me. Not exactly the vote of confidence I was hoping for, but at least I knew for sure I was really going to be winning the title. Vince wandered away, and Undertaker said, 'Do it, man. It's your time. Go out there and kick some ass.' It was nice to have someone's blessing if it was a dead man's. I wrestled The Rock in the opening round. After 20 minutes of the expected Rock Jericho magic, I pinned him with his own rock bottom, when Vince interfered. I was WCW champion for a second time, which makes me only better than David Arquette, apparently.
And Angle.
And Vince Russo. That's it. He's batting 1,000. I was slumped down in the corner after Rock had laid the smack it down on my candy ass when the famous sound of smashing glass emanated from the arena speakers. Austin, who had beaten Angle in the first round, stormed down to the ring and the next match began instantly. But before Steve got to the ring, Rocky came back in and gave me the rock bottom, just as Angle snuck in and hit Austin with the Olympic slam. It was a chair, but that's okay, Chris. Creative licensing into your own book. We're good. This left both Steve and me down on the mat as the ref rang the bell to start the match in the worst graphic ever, as I mentioned. This match wasn't as good as the one I'd had with Rock and wasn't the defining moment of my career that Austin had predicted earlier in the week. The body of the match was hard-hitting and solid, but the finish was a train wreck. Yeah, we saw that. It made about as much sense as an episode of Lost and boasted almost as large a cast. My friend Meg likes that reference. Ric Flair, Vince McMahon, and Booker T joined Rock and Angle and running in, each one making my win look more like a fluke, which was the last thing I needed. I needed all the booking help I could to be a credible champion, since my name value and status was far below the other three guys. Instead, I beat The Rock using his old finish after interference and then beat Austin by hitting him with the title after John and Kate +8 ran in to assist me. He's such a great run. I love Chris Jericho. I didn't help that the crowd was quiet during the whole match because they thought there was no chance in hell I was going to win. But after Booker hit Steve behind with the title, I crawled over and pinned him to win the WWE Championship for the first time and become the only undisputed champion in the history of the wrestling business. Not entirely true, but we'll go with it. But the fans were nonchalant and didn't buy it, even as Vince raised my hand and the blizzard of confetti and streamers drifted down upon us. It was the biggest moment of my career, and the San Diego crowd was as silent as a fart in church, or however that saying goes. But it was still my moment, and I was going to drink it in slowly like a baby suckling on JWoww's teat. Dude, we're getting really graphic with the stuff the last 2 days on the show. It was surreal to raise both titles over my head, and I still couldn't believe I was the champion. I was holding the same championships that Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, and Ricky Steamboat had held. Since my first match in Ponoka, Alberta, more than 11 years earlier, my goal had been to become the Intercontinental Champion. Now I was the first undisputed world champion, the only man in history who could make that claim, and it had taken me 1,372 matches to do it. I went through the curtain and looked to Vince for approval. He smiled and gave me a curt nod, but it didn't seem like he was really blown away with my work. Neither was I. This guy's winning the world championship, the undisputed championship, and he's just meh about it. That's how much or lack of confidence Vince had in him. And when you look back now, that was 19 years ago. We just celebrated Chris Jericho 30, and he's arguably the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back at this moment and you go, this should have been way better than it was.
You figure this wasn't even Chris Jericho's best pay-per-view of 2001.
No, not at all.
I would say either No Mercy or the Royal Rumble.
I was going to say Benoit and Rock. Yeah. Yep. Again, another guy had an MVP year 2001. Yeah, the Rumble. He had a train wreck of a match, but it was still good. The Fatal 4-Way for the IC at No Way Out in Vegas. WrestleMania with Regal, which is always good. The whole 3 months of Regal, which was corny but still good. Benoit and Steve at King of the Ring, the inaugural Brawl. Carrying Rhino, who Rhino wasn't really hitting his stride yet, honestly, in WWE. So at SummerSlam, Unforgiven with RVD, which we didn't get to watch because I didn't rig the voting properly. And then No Mercy, as mentioned, with The Rock. So yeah, he had a great year too. Mm-hmm. But as he said, it wasn't the career-defining moment that Stone Cold had predicted for him because it came off like a fart in church because the crowd wasn't ready for it. And like you said, had he known, he would have had his wife or his dad there. And it didn't happen. So it is a bummer looking back, but it is still a moment in time that we look back fondly upon here on this show because we both love Chris Jericho. So we love us some Y2J, some Ayatollah, if you will. Next week, we're going to have another match that took place on Greg's side of the country with Greg there, right?
Which match is it?
Armageddon 07 Triple Threat World Title.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Okay. Undertaker, Edge, and Batista. It's really when the Undertaker Edge story really starts kicking into gear because of the results of the match and the fact that Edge had come back the previous month. So yeah, it's going to be good. And then we're going to finish the year on New Year's Eve. I originally had the I Quit match between Tully and Magnum scheduled, but I'm rethinking that as I go along the month here. So I will let you know when I make a final decision. So before I turn the floor over to you for your plugs, I know I want to make sure you get your shit in, as Brian Cage would say. I mentioned I unsubscribed from Conrad's ad-free shows, not out of not liking his material, but I had a friend who is offering a Patreon of her own, and I love her work to pieces, and I can't promote her enough. She's a good friend, and she is Alexander the Red, so check her out over on Patreon. I'm on the high tier now, and it's worth its weight in gold, and it costs about that much, so check it out. Our pal Lisa, who you and I both known forever, it feels like. Check her out over on Twitter at Angel Lisa Marie 2. Our buddy Colin, the Cleaver himself. Check him out, youtube.com/Cleaver Colin Andrew. I forgot to upload Big G's YouTube page, but he is on YouTube, on Twitter. He's on Twitter at NoDQ_BigBallerG, so check him out there. Buy the shirt, of course, at teespring.com/Championship Network. And you're on my YouTube, you're on Greg's YouTube, so you know where we are there. Greg Cherry brand for everything Greg Cherry. I highly encourage you guys to buy our merch toward the beginning of next year, though, because it gets pricey. But yeah, and don't forget, coming up.
Yeah, I'm hoping at the beginning of the year we'll have some new designs up.
Right. And also don't forget, coming sometime the end of this year, early next year, the tournament participants for the WTC Challenge version 2.
I'm excited about
that. You got me amped up yesterday. I'm not gonna lie with this surprise you incurred. So I'm definitely looking forward to the announcement.
I'm so excited for it. And I still have spots to fill, so it could get even bigger than that. But we'll
see. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know any names. It's just, I'm just that looking forward to it. I'm curious where it's going to go. And of course, for all your latest news, features, and everything in the wrestling world, and the YouTube and social media links, you can check out nodq.com for everything. Aaron Rift, again, we wouldn't be sitting here without Aaron. So we appreciate you, boss man. And yes, you too, Ray Trailer. So there you go. Anything else you want to throw in there before we send the kids home?
Nope.
Done. I don't want to do shit. I'm tired.
I've been to the title 17 times this year. I need a break.
That's right. I need to come up with I'm tired. I need a break. All right, very good. Again,
questions.
Well, that
I haven't even started.
Yes. So tomorrow, don't forget, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. I know it's early, but I got to take the boy to the other house. So forgive me. But 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 2 o'clock out here is Talk Wrestling. We're going to cover everything I've watched this week and everything I want to talk about wrestling. So if you're available, come on in and watch us. If you're not, watch on demand. By the way, I keep forgetting to do this when we do shows. If you're watching on demand, thank you for doing that. We appreciate, I know we're not live right now anyway, but if you're watching these shows on demand, we really appreciate that, because a lot of the live shows we do, we get like a little bit of viewership. We're like, oh, bummer. But then the view count picks up. It's like, oh, okay, good. So if you're watching live, or if you're watching, on Memorex, as Stone Cold used to say, we appreciate that at Jeff Beecham Network, Greg Trey Brand, No DQ, and everybody, because without you guys watching, the view count doesn't go up, and our paydays don't increase at all. So we love you for that. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week on Rewind here to watch the Armageddon 2007 main event. And tomorrow, again, Talk Wrestling here on across all the YouTubes of the No DQ Galaxy. For Greg Cherry, on the Meech, good night.